Welcome to another chapter of In the Keep podcast. I'm your very own prophet of the drowned god, the Motherlode. This show is all about the world of arena first-person shooters, classic FPS games, their legacies, their lineage, and the people who keep that world turning. These are the players, the developers, the streamers, the influencers. It is the will of the drowned god Cthalhamas that our communities band together in her cathedral to frag and give one another into oblivion for all eternity. Y'all know the deal. Before we get started, we're going to say thank you to all of our Patreon subscribers. So, Dots, Moose, Paul, Zach, Alexander, Cthalhamas bless each and every one of you. You've been, keeping this shit alive for quite a while. Anybody out there who loves the Keep, you are welcome to donate through any facet that you so choose. You can go to inthekeep.com and find our Patreon, PayPal, credit card, and even our Amazon link. If you're doing any last minute Cthalhamas shopping, if you're doing it through Amazon, go through that link. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and we get a kickback. You can also go to our merch tab and buy In the Keep t-shirts or whatever merchandise that you so choose, and we'll be adding more to that shop, throughout the course of time as well. So definitely go check that out if you would like to support us. Case in point, though, for all that, it goes back into the community. Every dollar that gets sent to us, it's not for me to collect or anything like that. It is for this community. That said, we just finished, as of recording, maybe an hour or so ago, our first ever Warfork invitational duel cup. This was a worldwide invitational tournament. We had players from all over the world, like Japan, Estonia, Russia, France, the whole deal. It was just absolutely freaking amazing. And if you are a Warfork person, keep your eyes out for that going into the future. But I want to say congratulations to our third, second, and first place winners. So third place was Onos, a previous King of the Keep. He won that previously, and now it came in third place. Walked away with a whopping $20 or whatever that converts to in his home currency, as well as a second place Frag Stealer, who did an amazing job. It was such a pleasure to see him. Walked away with $30. And our first place winner, Lashaka, who made out with a whopping $50. And all of that money came straight from your donations. So thank you very much for all that shit. It was amazing. I can't wait to do it again in the new year. So let's talk about this episode. This is a really good one. I was actually surprised that I got to do this one after a long time of doubts and confusion. So this is CrazyAl and GMT. These guys represent, in this episode at least, TimConLAN. CrazyAl is the main organizer. GMT is his right-hand man. GMT is also a phenomenal caster. CrazyAl has been everywhere. He's done everything in the arena shooter community. There's few people I can think of who've, as quietly as he has, been involved in so many different projects and things. Like, for instance, if you go back and watch Ahoy's Quake documentary, we actually talk about this in the interview a bit, but, he's the guy playing against Ahoy in the videos, or Stuart, I guess would be a better thing to call him. But he was in the feature film E-Hero, which is a kind of tournament drama movie featuring Reflex Arena. CrazyAl runs the AFPS Discord, and, TimConLAN is what we're going to mainly talk about here. TimCon, now if you haven't heard of it, you will soon, but is a community-driven arena FPS-centered LAN party. It started off in the United Kingdom. I'm actually reading off their website right now in case you were wondering, but you can go check that out yourself. They've recently moved it to the Netherlands, but it was just, one of these things that was just started by a small group of 4 or 5 people, and has since then become something much bigger. It's still a very intimate LAN, and they've covered a lot of shit. I mean, they've done some really cool stuff, keeping a lot of games competitive alive. And in this case, we're going to talk a little bit about their recent one, which featured a CPMA tournament and a Diabotical tournament. So you're going to hear a lot about that in this interview. I really hope you enjoy it. All that said, the music this week was provided by Smile Scythe. It is a track called Gas List. You can go check him out over on SoundCloud. I will provide the link in the episode notes. And without any further ado, let's get in the keep with CrazyAl and GMT.
CrazyAl. I am the, I suppose, main organizer for TimCon.
And GMT.
I am GMT, otherwise known as Joel. I assist in the organisation of TimCon, sometimes a little bit more than others, and I'm an FPS commentator.
Fantastic. So how long have you guys been up to this? Tell us the whole story. How did TimCon come to be?
Oh,
Everything.
I don't know. When was the first one? It was either 2015 or 2016.
I want to say 16. So we just had the 8th edition, and we've done 2 a year since its inception. Yeah, so it's coming up for 4 years now. I think 3.5 actually is, the actual mark. Yeah, a little while. And the idea for TimCon 1 is much older than TimCon 1 itself.
Yes, very much so. So TimCon 1 and 2 started in a little flat apartment, if you will, which was actually owned by a guy called Tim, and that's how it gets the name, which you just asked earlier, yeah. So Tim had a flat, and he was like, all right, lads, let's come down and have a LAN, and we'll play some games, and that's how it started. Basically, and we called it TimConLAN just because we weren't thinking that it was going to grow any bigger than that.
Yeah, it was just sort of a tongue-in-cheek way of referring to it, because of course it's not a convention, and it's hardly a LAN.
Yeah,
it was at that point anyway. It was 5 of us, right? Me, you.
It was Walt. 4. It was 4 in TimCon 1, and then 5 at TimCon 2. Yeah.
No, 5. Qualks, Martin, Tim, me, and you, mate.
Oh yeah, right.
6 at TimCon 2 because we added Christus, who you may remember from a previous episode of the podcast.
Yeah, Christus is awesome. I really enjoyed just hanging out with him for a long time too. He was so generous with all of his time that day, basically. Because we got on, we did the whole gameplay part of it, where I did the stream with him, and then did the podcast, and then we also talked for quite a bit. Otherwise, it's just really helpful, and I'm really glad to see that Doombringer is kind of making a wave now.
Yeah, we love Doombringer.
How long have you guys been doing that?
Oh, I don't know. 2015, I think, is the first time I played Doombringer.
Right.
Yeah, and I would have been shortly after. Alan was who introduced me to Christus, and then Doombringer as well.
And the first time I launched Doombringer, I can remember my initial thoughts were, what the fuck is this shit that he sent me? What is this garbage? And, over time it grew on me, obviously. It's one of my favourite games now.
Among Arena FPS, it is, by far.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the TimCon deal, has it always been just strictly Arena first-person shooter oriented, or were there other things involved?
Yeah, I would say it's always been about Arena FPS, because that's what brought us all together in the first place. Don't get me wrong, we did play some other games. I think you played Smash, maybe. And
yeah, we've dabbled in a lot of things. It's a group of friends, first and foremost at this point, but we all met through Reflex, I believe. Certainly how I met everyone. And so that's the thing. TimCon used to be this group of 5 people, and then 6, but it's since sort of turned into its own thing, and it's really Alan that's taken the reins on that. And it's, a sort of distanced from that group.
Well, it was we were talking about doing the next LAN after TimCon 2, and we sort of wanted to do it bigger. So we're talking about renting a hall and doing BYOC and stuff like that. And then I found this place nearby where I lived in Liverpool called Horizon Esports Club, which was just an esports cafe or a PC cafe, gaming cafe, whatever you want to call it. And I was just like, why don't we go here and we can invite a bunch of people that we know, from extended groups of friends and stuff like that. And yeah, that's just kind of how it grew. Well,
I don't really know what to compare this to, because my LAN experience is totally not there. I was surprised, you guys are talking about playing other games. I was surprised when I got to QuakeCon, 50% of the people at QuakeCon probably are not and have never played Quake at all. It's just a lot of anime on the walls being projected and everything. And that's a huge corporate event. It's not even
10%. Yeah, 10% Quake, 90% Con.
Yeah,
right,
precisely. So
TimCon's quite different in that it very much is a LAN party first and foremost. We run tournaments, but it's about people that have maybe met online and known each other for a long time finally getting the chance to meet and just finding an excuse for it, right? That's certainly how it began. We were people that spoke on Discord every night for a year or two.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, this is a bit silly that we haven't put any faces to the name, especially when we all lived so close. But TimCon is still very much in that spirit, even if it's not the same people. It's just about getting together, and it just so happens that we're joined by Arena FPS Games.
Well, there's the competitive aspect too. I mean, at some point, if this keeps growing, it's going to be like TimCon winner of the year. Like people will be putting that on their, resumes. Like I won the CPM tournament or whatever.
Some people already have, actually.
It's awesome. Yeah.
I mean, some people are making a tidy little living from.
Yeah, actually, but when you take into consideration the conversion rates and stuff like that, going to some of these Eastern European countries, the Great British Pound goes a long way.
That's awesome, man. Well, I guess we should just start talking about the actual games themselves. So I've got your website pulled up here. I'm looking through all the different games that you guys advertise that you play, and I say advertise for a reason that we'll get to later. But Quake Live, Warsow, Reflex, Quake Champions, Doombringer. There's been we already mentioned the CPM championship that just happened. Why specifically these games? Like, there are a lot of arena shooters out there. These are definitely more popular ones for, most people. But let's go ahead and talk about, because Al, I mentioned this on the podcast with Christus. Reflex, this is a game I am not super, at the time that I wrote that article, I was not familiar with. And in America, at least, Reflex feels like it's a non-factor anymore. And it kind of sucks to feel a game that's that beautiful and that well polished not get played. So can you talk on that?
I mean, we can talk all day about why Reflex didn't get a good amount of players, and there are many reasons to consider why that's the case. It really just comes down to the fact that it's an arena FPS game. And that alone, it makes it hard enough, because, when you look outside the bigger arena, so when I say bigger arena FPS games, I'm obviously saying Quake games. So when you look outside of Quake games and you go to some of the more niche within a niche within a niche, and so on and so forth, let's say Xonotic, or not so much Warsow, because Warsow has been around for a long time. It's had a lot of players. So has Xonotic, really. But yeah, it just didn't. The fact that it was a clone of CPMA as well, so that already 17 players and all that nonsense. That just makes it harder for them. And then people at the time wanted. They didn't just want air control. They didn't just want CPM movement. People wanted VQ3 and stuff, and Reflex. I can remember watching, the pre-alpha gameplay that they showed before they ever released the game. And obviously, the first question that someone asks is, "Can we play VQ3 in it? Is it going to have multiple, rule sets? Is it going to have gameplay for everyone, basically?" And the answer was no. The answer was it's going to be like CPM, and that from the get-go makes it very hard. And then there's multiple things across the game's life that happened that made people leave, or people weren't happy with, and just shit happens, man.
But at one point it was featured in a movie, wasn't it? Didn't you?
Yeah,
I believe you told me that.
Yeah, E-Hero.
Okay,
it's a good movie. I'm in it, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, so they did a bunch of obviously they recorded, there's 30 minutes out of the whole movie, the whole I think it's 90 minutes in total, maybe a bit longer. And about 30 minutes of that is gameplay, actual in-engine gameplay, and that was all recorded by a whole bunch of community members. Actually, Kovac was he was on point for most of that, organization wise.
So you're the first movie star we've ever had on the show.
I don't know if I would say movie star.
Oh, wow. Alan, you are also in Ahoy's Quake retrospective, don't forget.
Oh yeah,
that is true. Yeah. What else? What did you do specifically, if you want to share that for the Ahoy part?
What did I do? Like for the video?
Got
Yeah.
fragged, mate.
I just played.
Yeah.
I just played Quake with him. Really, that was it.
I watched that whole thing the other day, and I was like, "Oh, that's his name. Cool." But
yeah, I've known Ahoy for almost 10 years now. We used to play Call of Duty together.
Best videos.
Yeah, no, he's amazing, and he needs a Netflix series or an Amazon Prime series or something, man. Seriously, he's so good. But yeah, I've known him for about 10 years. We used to play Call of Duty together on Xbox, and I got into Quake in like 2011, and then obviously he mentioned that he was making a Quake video, and I'm like, I'll help you record, footage for it if you want, and I did, and yeah, that's that.
We can go ahead and talk about this year's event, which you guys had the CPM tournament and another tournament, and I'll let you kind of speak on your own behalf because it's just kind of recently been made public what happened in the background there.
Yeah, so this year at TimCon we did a CPMA tournament, which we've done for the past couple of times. We love CPMA at TimCon, and the CPMA players are very, very dedicated, so we're going to support them as much as we can going forward, because it's not exactly a growing community. So I imagine at some point we're going to drop it, but we'll always pick it back up. We'll come back to it. You know what I mean? It's always going to be there. And also we had a Diabotical tournament, courtesy of the Good Studio. They gave us access to the game for that period and let us run a little tournament for it. Mostly for their sake, they wanted to. It's like a test bed for them, isn't it, to see how the game plays on LAN, and yeah, just I don't know. GMT, help me.
Okay, so yeah, so running the Diabotical tournament, it's as much for them as it is for us, but of course it's like a privilege and an honor, and really exciting for the attendees of TimCon to get their hands on it. And so we've got sort of a relationship with those guys, and it's cool because it's a real stress test, right? When you have people playing for some money, really, a lot of people practice beforehand, but maybe more seriously than you'll see in most arena FPS scenes. And they get to test some different setups, so it really is a nice, I don't know what you would call like symbiotic relationship. But then we keep the CPM in there. And one of the things that I want to say about that community is not only are they so dedicated to that game, but they're so dedicated to coming to LAN, right? Which sounds strange. Yeah. But when we've run other events in the past, it's been more the local lads that have shown up. Whereas the CPM community, they love a LAN. They love each other. And I think that's why it is one of the coolest games to run at the moment.
So people used to ask us... people used to ask us, sorry to interrupt you there, Joe.
Go for it.
Why haven't we had Xenotic? Because we've never had Xenotic at LAN. We've never done Quake Worlds. Although we should have done Quake World. I don't know why we haven't. Maybe we'll do that in the future. But yeah, so basically we did do Reflex, and then eventually we dropped it and we haven't come back to it. Same with Warsow. The thing is, people don't show up for these games. These games communities are so small and dead, mostly at this point. Obviously, not so much these days with Warfork coming out. But people don't really show up for these games specifically. So
right, but I think it's interesting because it's not like the CPM player base is actually that much bigger. They're just more willing to show up to LAN.
Yeah, they are just more dedicated.
And I think that's sort of the key when we're looking at the game selection. If you want to look at TimCon 1, 2, 3. It's a lot about what we wanted. So I'm a huge fan of Warsow. Of course, we love Doombringer. So maybe that gets more spotlight than, it would among other people. Yeah. But now it's very much, what are the games we should run for the arena FPS community at large? And so we run Quake Champions because, well, it was new and people were playing it. And, it made sense. And we've stopped running it because people don't really like it and they're already well served by the pro scene.
It was also a bit of a nightmare on LAN.
Oh, absolutely was. Yeah. We can do a bit of a story time on that. But we're really selecting the games to serve the need, where people want a LAN, more so than, selecting a game because we like it anymore, or because, we can get the most viewers on.
Yeah. No, I deal with this a lot kind of in the Discord as new people join that, have heard the podcast or whatever. And the Discord is ran by, not just me, but several different people. And they ask like, hey, why don't you guys, have XYZ games in there? And the answer is like, it's really up to the people who run the Discord, which is 11 or 12 different people. What do they want to see? And what do we feel like is worth our time? As you said, with choosing what games is going to be in TimCon, like Xenotic. Are people really going to show up for a LAN for Xenotic, and actually are you going to be able to have enough players to really put on an event for it? Like, that's all things you have to take into consideration. We've been really lucky with Warfork lately. People really seem to want to show up for that game. And these are online tournaments, which is much easier to do than what you guys are doing.
Right. And we are geographically limited. Of course it's a LAN, but also we have the venue. We had an old venue. We've got a new one, and we're pretty happy with that.
Right.
So we're somewhat inflexible in that sense. Oh yeah, the new venue is superb. And it just so happens that location really works for the CPM community as well.
Or just Europe in general. Like, the Netherlands is such a central, easy place to get to for everyone, really, I think.
Very well connected for all of West. Pretty easy for Eastern Europe. And honestly, even hopefully one day we'll have someone from even further afield. Maybe someone from the US.
I mean, I've spoken to people. I've spoken to people from the US and even Australia that have been very interested in coming. Obviously, in the end, they haven't made it, but one of these days, one of them is going to do it. So, I think the farthest.
It's a good location even for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Because Amsterdam is such a large airport, and
it's one of the biggest airports in the world. Yeah. I think the farthest we've had someone travel is, I think, Kane from the Czech Republic. Maybe.
We've had south of Austria as well before, right? TimCon 3.
ASIC came from.
That was amazing because they drove.
Yeah, ASIC and a guy called Mech from Germany. They drove for like 2 days to come to TimCon. So ASIC drove from Vienna to I don't know exactly where Mech's from, and somewhere in Germany. And then they met up and then drove. They both drove from there to, Liverpool, the UK, and they ended up sleeping on the side of the road and shit. It was awesome. Maybe not that awesome for them, but to hear about it when they got there was pretty cool. Like, that's dedication, man. I had to take a bus, and I was annoyed at that.
Yeah.
These guys drove for 2 days.
And that's one of the really cool things in recent years. TimCon gets more international every time, and of course, a new venue helps that massively.
Yeah,
right, and twice a year, it makes it even more accessible, I suppose, than most of these events are annually or whatever. And if it keeps growing, as you guys said, making money off of it and things like that, you could probably even go more often if you chose to.
Well, so far, TimCon's been non-profit, which I kind of want to keep it that way because I'm not about that life really. I just want to.
Yeah, I wouldn't say make a profit for yourself or no one person, but if you could take any money that it did generate and put it towards more TimCon or more.
We do get all of our prize pools are crowdfunded.
Right.
Well. Okay. So we get donations from people who are coming to the LAN or people who just want to support the LAN. We've had a whole bunch of donations from a lot of people over the years.
It comes to mind especially, and I want to mention them, Panic Borka for the CPM community, Lolagrade as well, always been a big supporter.
Panic Borka has put over €1,000 into TimCon, I think.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Props to that guy.
And I think that's the correct model, is not, here's a dollar amount that everyone has to pay, because there'll be people who really want to come, but if they have to pay $300 ticket for some shit like that, they wouldn't. But if someone else is like, hey, I want to throw €1,000 at it, and that covers them and several other people and makes the event better for everyone. That's right. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. So we are thinking of some revenue generation models, I guess, but it's all reinvested. It's all
correct
going back into TimCon in some way or another. Not so much to put it on because TimCon runs no loss either. It's non-profit because the money we've always done it is a direct interface from attendee to the venue. It doesn't really go through us.
Yeah.
Which means everyone pays for their own. And, that cost is what it is, and we don't add anything. But we might change that a bit because we have some ambitions about what TimCon can be. And, that might take a little bit extra money.
Yeah, we're going to start selling T-shirts and shit like that. And maybe put a little bit on the ticket price, and just to funnel that back into the event to pay for things like, hiring someone to come out and manage the stream. Because if anyone's listening to this and they've ever watched a TimCon stream, they'll know that it's not that great. Watching TimCon live hasn't been good in the past. I'll be honest, because everyone who's at the LAN is there playing games, is there having fun, and we don't really have a lot of time to manage the stream as well. We always have a stream, and I always try my best to have games on the stream. But sometimes you're just having fun and you forget, or
So I've definitely, I was supposed to run a stream a few times, but then, you have a late dinner or a late lunch.
Yeah.
You get busy just talking to these people that you only get the opportunity to see twice a year. These things happen. But yeah, so we definitely want to upgrade things on that front and make it a better experience for the online viewer.
So if anyone's listening who can run a stream or anything else and wants to help out, feel free to contact me or GMT.
On that note, it's what we've seen in the recent years of QHLAN is like, it's always been that community-driven thing, and there hasn't always been like a big production or a stream or anything like that. But with the basically Tasty Spleen just kind of taking over and documenting the entire thing, it has been such a fantastic viewer experience. And over time, you guys will figure that stuff out. Like, it's only been a few years. QHLAN's been going on forever.
And I think also,
QuakeCon, same thing.
We're still trying to keep that same feel of just a bunch of people meeting up and, we happen to play some video games. But, certainly I'm sort of feeling that there are some things I want to change about TimCon in that sense. Like, I want to put more effort into the stream. Maybe it means I don't get to do as many of the things I want to do. And I think, Alan's sort of the same persuasion that there's a few things we can do better. And maybe, that's a better overall experience for everyone, although it's going to take some small sacrifice on our front. And of course, to aspire to something like Jahar does with Tasty Spleen. It seems quite out of reach at the moment, but
unless we get Jahar,
maybe one day, unless we get Jahar, of course,
or
who's
someone
very welcome to come.
Yeah,
we do. We love Jahar. Always have.
Everyone does, man. He just won the award for most, all around community member in the entire Quake community.
I can't think of anyone more deserving.
That's what I said.
And that's the thing to so many communities, right? I mean, he was big in, obviously, he does a lot of Doom stuff, the Quake Champions Doom mod, these smaller things, and then he served us very well with Doombringer. All the best Doombringer streams have been Tasty Spleen streams.
Yeah. Pretty much,
sure,
if it's got rockets and jibs, you can pretty much find Jahar there somewhere.
I really hope one day someone makes a proper successor to Action Quake just for him.
Yeah.
That would be really, really cool. Like, Action Quake 2 is one of the most interesting things I've seen. And all the stuff that I've seen in arena shooters, I was like, wow, this is crazy. But obviously there's no one really playing it right now, that at least not near me. But I would like to get that spun up. That'd be fun. I like these trophies you guys have too. They're really neat looking, like metal works of art.
I've always been pretty proud of the trophies, to be honest.
Yeah, let's talk about the trophy history. So we start.
I've got one. Sorry, I've got one right next to me just now. Just wanted to tell everyone, I've got one. Yeah, go on.
That's a TimConLAN winner, Alan himself. Now, Alan, you did win that TimCon. I believe at TimCon 1, right?
Yes.
Where there were only 5 people and only 4 people played, and they were all quite bad.
They weren't bad. They were hard.
Well, I think they were pretty bad.
They were hard opponents. I had to play Tim.
One of them was me
in the world.
He is a jammy bastard, I'll give you that. So the trophy starts. Is the first one a wooden spoon, or is it? No, it's just a really shitty ribbon, isn't it?
No. The first one is cut out from a cereal box. It's just a piece of boards and the shape of a very crude shape of a trophy. It says TimConLAN Quake Live Champion 2016. And I think we did 3 of these. I think Qualks might have gotten one for Reflex.
Yeah, and then no, I think it was only 2 games at TimCon in terms of a tournament. Anyway, I say tournament again, 5 people, only 4 people played, but humble beginnings for TimCon, and then TimCon 2, I believe, is the wooden spoon, right?
No, we didn't have wooden spoons until.
Well, you didn't have...
Until I don't know.
TimCon 3 is where things get serious, right?
Yeah. So TimCon 3,
TimCon Legend.
TimCon 3,
Nerves.
we didn't make. All right, sorry, I'll let you do your thing, Joe. Go on.
Okay. TimCon Legend. Nerves. Winner of, I believe, 2 Quake Live tournaments at TimCon. Multiple second place. Very, very highly decorated player. He turns up with 3 WMOs. 3 little statuettes. 1 painted in bronze, 1 in silver, and 1 in gold. He ended up going away with only 1 of those, and it wasn't the gold one. We thank him very much, and if we can get some pictures either linked in the description or shown, that would be wonderful. Really, really, really cool stuff. And then TimCon 4 is the first of the Metalworks, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it was. That was the one we commissioned from a guy, and I shit you not, Andre the Blacksmith. If you've ever played Dark Souls, you'll know that name. But that was his name. It's a blacksmith called Andre, and he made that huge, ugly, silver-looking trophy.
It was cool, though. It was cool. And then, is it TimCon 5 or a little bit later that Lonnie gets involved?
I think it may have been 5. I don't know. I don't have any pictures. Hold on, let me just check.
We'll definitely find them. So, yeah, there's like a long history of trophies at TimCon.
Yeah.
The other thing.
Sorry.
Yeah, so TimCon 5 is when Lonnie, Alan's girlfriend, gets involved, who works in the Navy, right? And
she was in the Navy. She isn't anymore.
Right. But pretty handy with welding, right? And so we have these beautiful metalworks. One of them is like the glass from a submarine, right? One of the windows.
It's porthole glass from a ship. So
right.
My girlfriend's dad has a workshop down on the docks in Liverpool, which is, very what's the words I'm looking for here? A lot of history down on those docks. It's a very old city, so there's loads of shit down there. So yeah, one of the trophies was made out of a bit of porthole, glass from a porthole on a ship that was about 200 years old. That's just been, in the bottom of a dock for fuck knows how long. And some of the other metal, like pieces of metal, were quite old stuff from ships that were just salvaged basically from the water, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And I believe the unfortunate fact is that in the era of the really, really good trophies, which is when Lonnie was making, one man won all of them.
yeah.
Lupin another
took them all
TimCon
home.
legend, actually done pretty well for himself in Quake Champions as well. Really, really good player, just very solid. But yeah, he's got an entire bedroom.
He took the big ugly one from TimCon 4, and he took the 2 trophies from TimCon 5. And I don't think
he took TimCon 6 as well.
No, he wasn't at TimCon 6. I don't think.
So many TimCon.
I don't think so. He's not on the group photo at least. So I don't think he was.
Well, he's taken all of the coolest trophies, in my opinion. But then the other thing that's also a bit of a tradition, started at TimCon 2, is the bottle pop. So as with any good sport, be it StarCraft or Formula 1, you gotta pop some champagne.
Yep.
And we've been doing that for a little while.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. There's some good videos out there.
We found a couple of bottles of champagne in Tim's kitchen. And me being already half drunk, I was like, there's no way...
I'm Scottish.
Yeah. I'm like, there's no way we're not popping one of these bottles tonight. Seriously. So, we did, and it became tradition after that. I say tradition, we haven't done it for a while. But
no, we did it. No, we've just missed one.
Yeah, I think...
Right, but we're never missing it again. It's absolutely crucial to the brand at this point. Those videos will go down in infamy. But it's always a really nice moment. As I say, like, one of the coolest things about TimCon is people that have known each other for a long time meeting, but then we also get sort of these groups of friends that then, they're forced to mingle, funnily enough. And so it's always quite a tender moment when we have to say goodbye. And, the champagne pop is a really, really nice way of commemorating.
Yeah, the champagne pop has to be thinking of the Indy 500 because you guys said early on it was cut out. The trophies were cut out from a cereal box, if I understood correctly.
We don't do milk.
Yeah.
We don't do milk.
Oh, come on. Like, because you could do cereal and milk. Like,
you saw that one coming a mile off, didn't you, Joe?
Of course I did.
Yes.
We might do some soy milk. I don't know. But as long as I'm organizing, no cows will be harmed at TimCon.
Vegan, eh?
Massively.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that, like, yeah, if it's soy milk or almond milk, it just cereal and milk would be funny. That's it.
Yeah. Maybe.
I don't want to hurt any cows.
We'll see. Okay.
Wonderful. So, let's see. What else did I want to bring up? Oh, yeah, I did want to talk. I did want to get you guys to at least share as much as you feel comfortable and legally or, respectfully can about the Diabotical event and what your impressions were. I'm not going to ask anything specific because that's for too good to do on his own.
Well, everyone had a great time. Everyone who played
good.
Diabotical loved it. And I think it's going to be a fantastic game when it comes out. I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed.
The
tournaments,
thumbs up.
Yeah, pretty much. The tournaments ran smoothly. There were no major issues with the game, even with it being in an alpha state. Last time, TimCon 7, we did have some problems, but the game has come a long way since then. Definitely.
Oh, yeah. I think what I would say mostly mirrors what James said on his stream where he revealed, he played like the TimCon Grand Final, the most recent one. And I think what he said about some of the new mechanics in Duel, like the golden frag, like the dynamic timer, these have all gone down very, very well at LAN and have led to some big moments. You can see some of them in that VOD. And I think the game is progressing very, very nicely. The maps as well, getting a lot better over time. They're really good now.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, can't say too much, but even some people that have been pretty cynical about the game in the past, myself included, I think we're all pretty optimistic.
Oh yeah, you were very negative about the game.
Very yeah.
A while ago.
I've told people as much. And yeah, I wasn't overjoyed with a lot of things, but I think the most recent changes have made a world of difference. And yeah, I'm very excited for the future.
Yes.
Well, what were your original kind of like what was off-putting in your opinion?
I think I was just sort of underwhelmed okay, so the way that I would put it is one of the big reasons that Diabotical exists or needs to exist is because there isn't an arena FPS game with adequate infrastructure in terms of the things you expect of modern games, like matchmaking.
Yeah,
so I mean, StarCraft.
Realistically, sorry to butt in, but realistically, the last good arena FPS game was made in 1999, and there have been very minimal changes to that game and the clones of that game since then in terms of infrastructure.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm getting at. Like, Diabotical promised the infrastructure, but to me, it didn't really do anything else, which is someone who has already gotten over the hurdles and plays these games quite happily, doesn't matter. Like, it didn't do anything for me. I've already got my friends I deal with. The fact that you've given me matchmaking is such a small deal to me, and I really like the community. I don't really care if it's bigger. But the most recent changes, as I say, those two really crucial ones in Duel, the dynamic timer and the golden frag, to me, that's everything right there. And so I now have real faith in this being a unique and serious iteration upon the genre, rather than something that just brings convenience.
Yeah, and to talk about, other than Joel, because let's be honest, Joel's a bit shite, lads. Joel's a bit rubbish, isn't it? Team modes, I'm sure anyone who's watched this that's followed Diabotical has saw the Wipeout streams that Too Good has done, and let me tell you, Wipeout is a fantastic mode. It's literally, you know what they did, right? They took Clan Arena, probably the most popular arena FPS mode that has existed, Rocket Arena or Clan Arena, whatever you want to call it. They took that mode, right, and they put fun in it. They made it fun. That was it.
Actual fun.
That's all they did. It's fucking genius. 200 IQ move right there.
More than an aim trainer now.
Yeah. They took Clan Arena and they made it fun. And it's a fucking great mode.
Some folks playing Warfork have already figured out how to kind of recreate that mode in it, and it seems to be really, really, really cool. Just, and it's not even in the game it was designed for. So I'm really looking forward to what comes of Wipeout in the public.
Yeah. I kind of expected that when they first started talking about it publicly, the specifics of what is Wipeout. So I'm glad that people have already tried it out and gone, yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. And that's what I'm most looking forward to about Diabotical. I mean, I could give or take duel. You know what I mean? I don't care about 1v1. I mean, it's very
I was gonna
interesting
bring that back up.
spectator
Yeah.
sport. I like to watch it. It's fantastic. But team modes for me are where it's at. I love team modes and Wipeout. The fact that I'm going to be able to load up the game, quick play, Wipeout, and hopefully within a couple minutes, I'll be in a game. That's the dream right there, man. That's Arena FPS dream. And obviously, as well, they're going to do CTF and this thing called MacGuffin that we don't even know what that is yet, so don't even ask.
Yeah.
We don't even know what MacGuffin is. I'm looking forward to whatever that's going to be. CTF is also, classic mode that, everyone enjoys. And hopefully some good TDM. I'm very excited to see how they're going to change up TDM if they decide to change it up. They haven't really. I mean, they've showed a little bit of TDM, I think, but nothing major. And yeah, so 1v1. Sorry, go on.
Like, I have a lot of faith at this point because of what they've done to Duel and what they've done with Wipeout, without making these small changes to very proven formulas. And so far, it's all good, right? So yeah, I'm much more excited that we are seeing these, even if they do seem small on surface, really, really transformative changes. I think that's where a lot of the fun is. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel, which is promising. I know, I guess it's like if you played Dota 1, right? When League of Legends came out or something. And it's like, yeah, it's sort of the same shape, but it's so significantly different, it alienates a lot of people. That's not happening. It's not still very much Arena FPS. It really is pretty, not objective, but like really, really solid, quite obvious upgrades in so many ways.
Was there anything else you guys wanted to share just about yourselves or the LAN in general? Anything at all?
You should come to it.
Yeah.
I would very much like to.
.co.uk.
Yeah, TimConLAN.co.uk. There you can find links to our, YouTube, Twitter, Discord, all that good stuff that you can keep up to date. I don't know exactly right now when the next LAN's going to be, because I also want to give a shout out to I think it's Good Luck Have Fun, or GLHF LAN, which is happening in I think April in Helsinki in Finland. So yeah, I think it's around April. That's around the time we normally would do TimCon, but since they've got their thing going on, we're going to give them some space and let them do the thing on that. So we'll probably have ours a little bit after that. But like I said, if you want to follow all the stuff, you'll find I'll give a notification when we have dates and that sorted out. So yeah, please come check us out. You'll definitely enjoy it. GMT.
I don't think I have much more to add. Like, yeah, just come. If you see, if you like what you see, and I think you will. It's been a really good time thus far, and it just gets better and better. Move to this new location, and I think,
should we talk about that a little bit? We haven't really mentioned that.
Maybe we should.
Yeah. Take all the time you want. I'm not cutting you off. Most people don't want to talk for more than an hour.
So we used to we were in a place called Horizon Esports that we mentioned earlier, Horizon Esports Club, which was I suppose it was like a little small. It was kind of small place in Liverpool. They closed their doors recently to sort of remodel, and I think they're actually reopening pretty soon. But we decided to move away from there for a couple of different reasons. And we found a place called Esports Game Arena. Very creative name. And a little town called Alphen aan den Rijn in the Netherlands, which is like it's sort of halfway between Amsterdam and Rotterdam. I completely lost my train of thought.
Anyway, so we found that through a TimCon alumni, Worcester Wessel, a Dutchman.
Actually, it was Vu who suggested the place on Yes Reality when Zero Sawyer made a post about doing a CPM. Made a post about doing a CPM LAN in Europe, and I think Vu recommended that place because he played there before for some Quake Champions event.
Wow! Thanks to him.
Yeah, Vu did show up. Vu did show up at the event as well, and we were talking about the venue and stuff. So yeah, he was happy that we came here because, like I say, he suggested it in the first place.
Yep. And the new venue is great for a few reasons. So the location being one. Liverpool, as much as it is one of the nicest and most well-connected cities in the UK, the UK is a little bit of a nightmare to get around. And flying anywhere outside of London is a fucking nightmare for most people.
My understanding is that a lot of Europeans, like, they have to get a visa. It creates an extra step for them to get into the UK now.
It will in a couple of years. At the moment, no.
Hopefully not.
Well, hopefully not. But no, actually, like, as long as you're in the Shenzhen zone or Schengen zone, you're good.
Yeah, there's freedom of movement. You know what I mean?
Right. But Liverpool is a bit of a pain to get to, even for people in the UK. Like, I was spending £180 to get a return ticket to Liverpool from where I live in Reading.
Yeah, the train prices in this country are insane.
They're absurd. Whereas I can fly to Amsterdam for £20. And obviously for people in Europe, it's much the same. How much easier. So the location is great, but it's not in Amsterdam. It's not in the center. It's in Alphen aan den Rijn. And it's this nice, quaint, quiet, but still very convenient place to be. Cheap to get to. The accommodation is very well priced. And then the venue itself is great. So before we had a room of 20 PCs, and that was it. And, you had the rest of Liverpool to play, and it was cool. But now we've got a bar, we've got pool tables, there's like a racing sim setup. We've got a dedicated streaming room we're going to use. They've got VR. There's so many things going for it, and I think it really plays into the atmosphere and the ethos that TimCon is supposed to have, which is a bunch of people meeting, and it's a social, casual get together, and it just lends so well to that purpose.
Yeah, it's got a bar. I'll be there. One day I'm coming. Like if that remains the case, like this is amazing.
That's really the first question that everyone asked. Is there a bar? Yeah. Like when it was Horizon, is there a bar? No. Are we allowed to drink inside? No. And everyone's a bit disappointed. But we were in the center. No, it didn't fucking stop anyone. We were in the center of Liverpool, and there was bars aplenty on the doorsteps, so it wasn't that much of a problem. But now it's literally in the same venue, and holy shit, man, the beer in the Netherlands is so cheap. So cheap, it's disgusting. Like,
pretty good too?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. You said so cheap it's disgusting, and then he said it's pretty good.
Disgustingly cheap.
Yeah.
When you come back home, you pay over a fiver for a pint, and then over there it's I don't know, 3-4 euros, if that.
Mate, you want cheap beer? Go to South Korea, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a fun 2 weeks. Nice. A lot of cheap beer. Yeah. So the new venue, I think for me, like TimCon, I still enjoyed it, but I think a few people had the feeling, they could skip, maybe only go to one a year.
Well, yeah,
because there were some limitations, and it was getting a bit samey. But I think now with Diabotical on the horizon, with this new venue, with all that's going on, it really is looking better and more hopeful than ever. And I think there's a lot of faith in its growth and its improvement. And me and Alan are going to be working hard to make that the case.
Yeah, big time. And just to piggyback on your point there about it being twice a year instead of once a year, like a lot of events. So I wanted to mention this earlier, but I kind of forgot about it. But like the one of the original inspirations for me for TimCon was I don't know if you've ever really followed fighting game events in the US. But they have a fighting game circuit, like Capcom Cup and stuff like that, where basically there's a whole bunch of different fighting game events in all different regions in America. So basically people travel across the country, east to west, or, other way around. But so yeah, different cities and different states, they have these big events, and it's not like a Street Fighter event. It's not like a Tekken event. They'll have a fighting game event, and they'll have Street Fighter, they'll have Tekken, they'll have I don't know, all these anime fighters and Smash. Maybe not so much Smash, they kind of have their own thing, I think. But the point is, it's not about... the point is, it's not about any one game. It's about the entire genre. Now, in Arena FPS, you have a lot of tribalism. CPMA players don't like VQ3 gameplay, vice versa, and there's a lot of trash talking going on, and that's fine. That's all in good fun. but I sort of wanted to bring everyone together to play arena FPS games under one roof, you know, and kind of the same way that they do with the fighting game community. Because you go to any fighting game meetup, and it's not like that. Like I said, it's not like this is a Street Fighter event. This is a fighting game event, and if you want to come and play fighting games, doesn't matter what you want to play. You know, there will be other people there willing to play it with you.
Right, and I think that has been a success. We've actually had some. I'm thinking particularly of Nerves here, but also of Gaia and Dansk, and players that come from one side of the aisle doing very well in the other just by playing a little bit. And I think we've all had a good time for it. And you know, it's interesting the different approaches and philosophies people have for the different games. It's been really nice bringing those things together. Yeah, I mean,
and that was the point of doing 2 events a year, was to not only give people more opportunity to come to TimCon if maybe one event doesn't quite suit their, you know, schedule. All they have to do is wait another 6 months and there'll be another TimCon. But not only that, but so we can also have as many games as possible. Because, like, I mean, our event is like 4 days, right? And don't get me wrong, we have done 4 tournaments in 4 days, and that is very hectic, you know? Trying to organize that many tournaments in such a short time. So to have 2 events a year... Sorry?
We've learned since then.
To have 2 events a year lets us maybe, let's say, we'll play Reflex and Warsow this time, but next time we'll do Quake Champions and CPM, for example, you know.
Well, and also it's just such a good time. Why wouldn't we want to do it more?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you guys have kind of reworded my own mission statement here. Is, you know, bring everybody under one roof. Don't separate or discriminate based on, you know, like I played this game but not that game, or even just the bridge between Quake Champions and every other arena shooter.
Yeah, except Unreal Tournament. That game sucks.
Oh yeah, okay. I've never played it. I mean, I've played it like one time, but
no, I've got no hard feelings to UT players, but it's not my cup of tea. That's all.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel as well. The movement just doesn't mesh with me. I respect it, and it's part of this community just as much as anything else. So
yeah, we've run events for games we don't like before.
Yeah, it's all good.
None of us liked Quake Champions, but hey, we ran it.
I mean, I didn't mind Quake Champions. My biggest problem with Quake Champions is that it was just such a nightmare. Like, I don't know. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I know that Quake Champions sends a lot of data back and forth. Yeah. So, like, we were playing 2v2 Quake Champions at one event, and people who were playing Quake Live on LAN on the other side of the room were lagging on the LAN server because Quake Champions was like hogging the fucking network or something. I don't know. But people downstairs who were playing, you know, fucking League of Legends or Overwatch or whatever were also complaining about lag, and they were playing online. Obviously, Quake Champions is online as well, but that's what I mean. Like, it just completely choked the network, and we really couldn't. We couldn't run another Quake Champions event if we wanted to, which was a shame, because we did have people turning up who wanted to play Quake Champions, you know?
Yeah.
If we're talking about creating a perfect system of any kind, Quake Champions has some extreme entropy. There's a lot of friction. You know, if it were a machine, it would be a gas guzzler, you know? It wouldn't be efficient.
It would be American made.
Yeah, you're damn right it would be. Except I believe the engine was Russian made, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, well, thing. That's equally as bad, isn't it?
All right. Anything else, you guys?
No, I think that's pretty much everything.
Okay. Well,
I would agree.
GMT, it's been a pleasure meeting you for the first time ever, and I look forward to getting to know you better in the future as well.
Sure thing. I'm going to be doing more commentary. All right. Okay. Watch out, and we're going to be posting. We're going to be posting some commentary of the redux of the CPM Grand Finals from TimCon 8, because we may have lost a recording of that. So yeah, watch out for that.
Fantastic. Stay in touch, man. Seriously.
Will do.
And, Al, I'm really glad that I want to thank Christus for this, really, but I'm glad that we got a chance to clear the air and just kind of, we were meant to be friends all along.
Yeah, it was meant to be.
I'm really glad. Fate. I'm grateful.
Yeah, me too.
Really
I'm glad we got to. I mean, I really like and the Keep podcasts. I've listened to a bunch of them. You've talked to some really interesting characters over the time you've been doing it. I'm honoured to be on the same platform as some of the other people that you've interviewed.
Milton, fuck yeah. I'm so proud of that one.
Yeah, nice one.
Dude, yeah, thank you guys so much. And I guess this is it, so let's just get out of here. I'm gonna go
don't forget
make some more tea.
Don't forget to follow at the TimConLAN on Twitter. I don't often post on Twitter, but I'm going to try and make more of an effort to do it.
Plug everything. It's all the social medias. Send it all to me, and I'll make sure that it's in the show notes.
Yeah, no worries. Okay.
If you enjoyed this podcast and you would like to hear more similar to it, I highly recommend you go over to Quakefans.net, look at their front page, and there are several shows that will be featured at the top under podcasts. Definitely go check out Doom is Dead. That is another production of The Keep. It is hosted by Human Bones and Dewsome of the Multiplayer Doom Federation, and it is freaking fantastic. A new episode will come out every month. I also recommend you go check out Quakecast, ran by Dump Truck DS, the Trench Broom Master himself, and proprietor of the Quake mapping community, as well as his co-hosts RC and JCR, both wonderful members of the Quake community in their own right. I hope you enjoy that one. And lastly, we'll go ahead and plug Quakefans Radio. That's ran by Smango of Quakefans.net every Saturday morning. It's live on YouTube, or you can listen to it later in podcast form. And that's all the latest AFPS news coming at you live every week. Go check it out. Till next time, this is your very own Prophet of the Drowned God, the Motherlode, and we will see you again next week with another chapter. But until then, stay in the Keep.